Hey guys, so this video is kind of impromptu. I have been planning this video, but I didn't know when I was going to get to film it. So we are on break right now. My little girl, she is in kindergarten. I started homeschool with her this year, or kindergarten homeschool this year. We did homeschool preschool last year. But she's taking a little bit of a break, so I thought while she was taking a break, I would just go ahead and film this clip. I mentioned that I want to do a video talking about my move and everything and how that's working out. So, Baylie from Baylie brings, I'm about to say Baylie brings books. Like my channel name, Baylie brings books. Baylie. Bailey's bookshelf. Me and her actually had the opportunity, I don't know if I've talked about it on here, but me and her had the opportunity several weeks ago to meet up, which was so fun. And I wanted to do some filming, but I ended up not doing any. But I might can put some pictures on here. It was super fun. She was vacationing at the beach, not too far from where I live, like a couple hours. So me and the kids rode down there for like a little field trip day and met her, and it was really fun. We went to a local museum and we went to some bookshops, and it was amazing. I'm gonna try to make this pretty simple and not too long. Once again, like I shared in my last video, I am still in the process of getting settled in, so please excuse any mess or just excuse the lack of attention to detail in this video. Like I want to have a little bit more, like, kind of have some regularities about my videos, but right now that's in the future. It's coming. So right now it's just kind of random, and I'm trying to film when I get a chance. So anyway, while we're on break, I thought I would chat and share with y'all what God has been doing for me lately. So if you're new to my channel, you may not know all of my story, and I'll share a little bit here, but I am a widow. November will be 2 years ago that my husband passed away, and I have 3 children, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. I was pregnant with the youngest when my husband passed away. He was a police officer and a former pastor, assistant pastor, and he committed suicide. So it's been a journey, and God's grace has been with me every step of the way. There's things about my story that I have not discussed on here. I may in the future, whenever I feel like if God leads me to. I loved my husband very dearly, and his death was it was a shock. It was a road that I never dreamed I would walk down. I thought we were going to be together forever, and it was just, the past 2 years have been, like I said earlier, hard, but at the same time, I have found God's grace in this time to be amazing. It has been in the middle of this suffering and this dark place that I have found God to be absolutely faithful, and God has become more real to me and in my life, and I'm seeing him work and move. I've seen the character that suffering develops, and so it's like a twofold road, because there's the part that would never, ever, ever choose this road to walk down, would not even consider it as an option, because I love my husband dearly, and I would give everything I own to have him back here with me and my kids, and to be the dad that I know he wanted to be to our kids. Behind all the depression and the darkness, he loved them, and he loved his children so dearly, and I would give anything to have that, to have him back. And just, I miss him so much. And so many things that I wish, that I wish for. But at the same time, I know He's given me a lot of peace and clarity and understanding that my husband is in heaven. That God, he came to grace. God gave him grace in his last moments, and he's not suffering anymore. God clearly spoke that to me, as well as someone else who did not even know that God had spoken that to me. They told me God had spoken that to him as well, almost those exact words, that my husband was no longer suffering and that he's he's at peace with the Father. And so I know he would not come back if he could. And that is the peace that I have is knowing that he's healed and he's whole now from his depression and the darkness that had him entangled. And the growth that the suffering has brought me, I realized it only could have come through suffering. There's so much character and just, I don't know, just so many things that I feel like have been added to me because of the suffering that would not have come except through suffering. And so, again, not a road I would have chosen, but it's the road that I'm on. And God has shown me so many good things on this road. He's proven himself faithful over and over, and he's proven himself so loving and compassionate, and I love the Lord so much. And so this is the journey that I'm on. I am a single mom with 3 children, and for the past 2 years I have lived, for the first 6 months I lived with my mother and father-in-law, who they lived just a few miles from where me and my husband lived. So when he passed away, from the day that he passed away, I went and I was at their house for the next 6 months, and I went through the process of selling my home, and I had my baby, and I was there with my in-laws during all of that. Then for the next 6 months, I stayed with my parents, my family, who lived about 30 minutes away from my in-laws. And me and my children lived there for about 6 months. And then I wanted my own place. I mean, I was trying to find a place, apartments, I had so many options. I was thinking about apartments, thinking about buying a house. I looked at a lot of houses. I looked at renting. I looked at buying a camper to put on my parents' property, even buying a mobile home to put on my parents' property, and so many options that I looked over. And I had a lot of fears about living out on my own with all 3 of my kids. I've also talked some on here about my mental health journey, that I've tried to become a lot more open about that since my husband passed away, just because of his struggles that he had with depression and things. And so I have OCD, and God has helped me a lot with it. He helped me to be able to be diagnosed and put on medication for it, and he's given me a lot of grace and strength in that journey. But part of that, I was afraid just of, the anxiety and the fear and the questions of, can I do this out on my own? Can I live by myself with my kids? Am I going to be able to function well? Am I going, just the fears of day-to-day living. And what I ended up doing was I bought a RV. It was a huge RV, 42 foot, fifth wheel actually, and it had 2 bedrooms. I had a bedroom and my kids had a bedroom, and it had 2 bathrooms. And so when I found it, I knew it was perfect. Their bathroom had a bathtub in it, and it was a huge room with a loft, and it was the perfect size for my family. I felt like, God led me to it. It was exactly what he wanted. And I felt a peace in purchasing it, and that I had not felt in anything else that I had looked at and considered any other options. So, sorry for all the yelling, y'all. My kids are playing. But yeah, so I purchased that in January of this year, and I moved in probably around late February to early March. I think maybe late February was when I began staying in it. It took me a while to get everything hooked up, and there was definitely a major learning curve to it. And that was one of the biggest issues I had with it, was just figuring out all the little nuances of RV living. I'm not mechanically inclined. I'm not like that. I'm one of those women that I know people will think this sounds like old-fashioned, but it's me. I'm one of those women that, like, that stuff does not appeal to me, like the mechanical side of things and just figuring it out, and it overwhelms me. Like, it's not the fact that it's not just the fact, oh, you should just figure it out. It overwhelms me. Like, when something goes wrong and I have to figure it out and like try to understand it, I get super overwhelmed. Because I'm just totally out of my element. So, that being said, we stayed in the camper. I had it set up and had people come set up everything for me. And a lot of people just really took the time to help me out with it, and I really appreciated that. I still appreciate that so much. And I was still, we were in it from probably February to about the end of September, so we were in it for a good 7 months, I would say. 6-7 months, which seems to be a theme in my journey so far. Yeah, we were in it for a while, and I loved it. It was cozy. It helped me really downsize a lot, other than my books. And that was the one thing that I struggled with downsizing, and yeah. But anyway, it helped me downsize a lot, and really, it helped me. It was a very good experience for me to stay out on my own, being able to get out and just become more independent in caring for my kids, and becoming more independent in just doing some of the things again that I had, that you do as a housewife. The things that it was all, as living, for the past year since my husband had died, it was harder for me to be able to do those things. I was staying with other people, and so I have a really bad tendency also to kind of, if I'm staying with someone else, if I'm around someone else, to kind of fall onto them for support. And so being out on my own helped push me and motivate me to just really start doing more, kind of getting back to normal again, I guess you would say. I began to feel like after a few months, like I need my own place. And I really believe, I know a lot of people think, well, that was crazy for you to spend that money and do all that and then move so soon. But I really believe that it was God's will for me to do that. That it was like a transition for me, because I think it was just, being there was a transition period for me, and it helped me build my confidence, and it helped grow me in different areas. And it helped me. I was able to get my daughter's homeschool stuff set up. I was able to go back to work while I was there and get a schedule with that. And it just really, it helped me develop some various areas of my life. And so I believe it was an awesome transition stage. But anyway, so now to where I'm at now. I'm in an apartment. So this part of the story is crazy. It's amazing, but it's also just crazy how fast everything happened. So I had been considering off and on maybe moving somewhere. I had even looked at houses, but as y'all know, the housing market has been crazy, and around here, it's just there's really it's incredibly difficult to find anything affordable. And not only that, I really wanted to be somewhere where I would not have to worry about maintenance and upkeep, especially outside, or even if something went wrong with some of my appliances, things like that. I wanted to be somewhere where I had someone that could take care of those things for me. So I thought off and on about apartments. Well, whenever we went, I mentioned earlier that we went on a little trip with Baylie. We went on a day trip with her. So that night when I got back from the day trip to the beach with Baylie, there were some issues with my RV, and so we ended up having to stay with my mom, and I was not sure because, for one thing, so when I first bought the RV, there was a local mobile RV technician. Well, they no longer go out and make mobile. They're no longer, like you have to take your RV to them. Well, I don't have anything to pull my RV. I had it set up at my parents' house, and I did not, I have no way to pull it. So when some of the situations happened, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, how am I gonna get this fixed? And my cats were still in my camper, and I knew it was gonna get hot like in the next week or so. And I was like, I've got to have somewhere to stay, because my mom, she has like a baking business, and she doesn't want pets in her house. So I was like, I know I've got to have somewhere to stay. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do, how I was gonna get it, when it was gonna be fixed, the situation with the RV, and it was just little things that had been happening. Like if you have an RV, or if you ever read anything about purchasing one, that's one of the big things that people will tell you, is that there's always something going wrong with RVs, like just the nature of how they're built and the materials used. There's always something going on. You're always having to work on them, and all the RV forums say that you're always going to have something to work on in your RVs. It's not like you have a lemon. It's just every RV, that's the situation. So I was experiencing that, and little things going wrong that I didn't really know what to do, and I would get overwhelmed trying to figure it out. So anyway, that happened on a Friday. The situation that I came home to, and there was some issues going on in my camper. The next day, that night, I was looking around that morning, trying to figure out what I was gonna do. The next day, I saw some apartments. They're like apartment homes. I had looked at them way back before I bought my camper, when I was looking around for places to stay. I looked at them online, but I never went. So I started looking at them again, and where my parents live is very rural, and the closest, I really, if I was going to live in an apartment, I wanted it to be like apartment homes in a nice community, like the apartment homes that have a pool and everything taken care of, very upkept, very nice. And so that was where I really wanted to be if I was going to stay in an apartment, where I felt safe and confident, and where I wouldn't be scared going in and out, and I could be confident that things were going to be taken care of, and just in a good location. And so this place, it was a Saturday, which a lot of places are not even open on Saturday, and she was open. I called her. The landlord who was working this place had some of the best reviews of the area that I was looking at. She told me I could come by. I came by, and she was like, well, at first she was telling me I wanted a 2-bedroom, and so she was like, well, you would probably have to be on the second floor. And so then she was gonna go get the key to show me, and then she was like, wait a minute, let me look. And she said, I think I have one that someone has just moved out of, and she said, let me see if it's ready. And so she looked, and it was ready, and so she took me over to it and showed it to me. It was on the first floor, 2-bedroom, 1,200 square feet. So basically the size of a home. It was right near the office, like the first building right behind the office, right near the pool, right near the front where everything felt safe, well lit. The grounds are beautiful. They take care of them and keep them up so well. And so I asked her, I was like, well, when can I move in? And she was like, well, when do you want to move in? I said, well, as soon as possible if I could. And so she said, well, like, she told me that if I went ahead and got everything taken care of, that she would go ahead and look at my application and stuff. So I went home. I applied that night. The next day, on a Sunday, I messaged her. She said, okay, in the morning, I'll look at it when I come in. Well, Monday morning, she looked at it and she, we talked back and forth, and she was like, well, if you want to come by tomorrow, I can get it set up and you can move in tomorrow, Tuesday night. And I was like, well, I've got to work Tuesday, so is it possible that I could come by and, go ahead and take care of everything, sign everything, get everything set up today? And she was like, or no, I asked her what time on Tuesday. I said, because I've got to work till 4. So I said, will you be open after that? And she was like, well, if you can get everything taken care of, just come by, go ahead and come by today, and we'll see if we can get it, we can get it taken care of. And so that was like the busiest weekend day of my life. I felt like everything was in a whirl. I called and got my lights connected. I called and got my water connected. I had it was just like all this stuff taking place, and I had to go to the bank and get a money order and all of that, and it was like all so crazily happening. And I had done school with my little girl and done all this stuff, and I was like, oh my word. And so the thing was, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be approved, because I had applied on Saturday and I was just prayed about it over the weekend, and that Sunday I was like, I'm going to pray about it. If it's God's will, that he'll let it work out. But on just my income, and I have a loan out on the RV, so I was like, I really don't even know if I'm going to be approved, because you have to make a certain amount to move out here. And so I knew I had that debt, and my plan is to sell the RV, but it wasn't like, they're not going to take your word for that. But miraculously, it was approved, and I was able to move in. I applied on a Saturday, and I moved in on a Monday night. And y'all, it was like all a God thing. I know that Sunday morning, I was praying about it, and I was sitting there in church, and just the choir was singing a song, and I think they may have been singing Waymaker. I don't remember. I know they sang it that morning, but they were singing a song, and I was just, as I was sitting there, I just kind of closed my eyes and talking to the Lord, and I was like, you know what? God is going to make a way. I just felt that peace in my heart, and it was a sensation that just clearly, I thought, God is going to make a way, and he's going to work it out. Whatever happens, he's going to make a way. He's going to work it out. And at the same time that I was thinking this to myself, my aunt walked up behind me. She goes to church with me, and she put her hands on my shoulders, and she leaned in my ear, and she said, God's going to take care of you. He's going to work things out, and he sees you, and he's not forgotten you. He's going to take care of you. And something like along those lines, and things are going to work out. And my aunt didn't even know the extent of everything. She knew that I was thinking about moving, but she didn't know the extent of everything. I don't know if she even knew that I had applied, because all this had happened so fast. And when she spoke that to me, she spoke it to me at the exact moment that I was she walked up right then when I was thinking that that I knew God was going to work it out. And she spoke those words to me, and I was like, confirmation. So when it all worked out on that Monday, I felt just absolute peace. And that was what in the whole situation was so crazy to me. And I know that might sound weird to y'all, but I was so weirdly at peace about it. I didn't feel any fear about moving out here to this apartment. I didn't feel fear. I felt just absolute peace in it. In all the other situations other than my camper, when I looked at houses and stuff, I was so worried and anxious, and I did not feel a peace in any of it. But this, it was in all of it, I just felt absolute peace. and it almost scared me. And I had someone tell me that. They were like, when I was telling them about it, they were like, it scared you to feel like that, didn't it? And I was like, yeah, it kind of did, because I thought, am I crazy? Is something wrong with me? That I feel this at peace about it. But it was one of those sensations that I knew it was God giving me that peace, because I was at such a peace about it. It had to be God. And so it was like I didn't second guess or question it. The only thing at times I was like, can I afford this financially? But, you know, I looked it over and I prayed about it, and I looked at my finances, and I felt like, you know, I feel like I can, from looking at my finances and things, that I can handle it and take care and be able to step out on my own like this. And just that peace in knowing that God was going to provide for me. I wish that I could explain it, but I can't. It's just one of those situations and circumstances that I've never really experienced it to quite that depth before. But man, it was amazing. It was amazing to me, just the peace that God gave me in all of it as I moved, the absolute assurance that He gave me, I wasn't second guessing it. And people had told me before that when it came to, purchasing a house or moving somewhere, that you will know, you'll get a peace and you'll know. And that was how, and I kind of thought, well, how is that going to be possible? Because during the whole first time I was looking for somewhere, I never really felt that peace until when I bought the camper, I did. But with this, when I came to this apartment and I just made the choice to rent it, I felt peace, absolute peace. No second guessing, like I said. It was just peace about it. And so I knew it was God giving me that peace and working it out. And so then I moved in on a Monday night. Well, I needed a washer and dryer. I did not have a washer and dryer. And my cousin, someone told me that one of my cousins, I have a lot of cousins. Someone told me that one of my cousins, my mom told me, was him and his wife were selling a washer and dryer that they had. They had bought it whenever they were, when they first got married several years ago, and they didn't use it very long. They used it like 6 months, and then they moved, and where they moved to, they wouldn't let them take it with them, like use it. So they had to put it in their barn. So she's like, well, they're going to sell this for $200, and I messaged them, I asked them, did it work okay and everything? They were like, yeah, it works good. So I said, well, can y'all deliver it to me? I asked my cousin's wife, I said, do you think he could bring it to me? And she said, yeah. He said that would be fine. And so I was like, okay, I want to buy it. They brought it over that night. My brother came and helped him unload it and everything. Well, when he got here, he was like, my cousin, he's like, I'm not going to charge you for this. And I was going to pay him like $250 I was going to pay him extra for delivering it and everything. And he said, I'm not going to charge you for this. He said, because it's been in the barn a while and it looks a little bit worse than I thought it did. And y'all, it had like a little spot of rust at the bottom of the washer. It didn't look bad at all. It looked like perfectly fine to me. He's like, I didn't realize it looked this bad. And I just, it's been in the barn a while, so I'm not even going to charge you for it. And I was like, no, I'm going to pay you for this. And I just kept on. He was like, no, I'm not taking money. So they set it all up, and he's like, he said, make sure it works and everything. And he said it should. He said, but it's been in my barn a while, so I don't know. Well, we got it connected. I had to go get the stuff to, like, the hose stuff to set up the dryer. I got all that connected, set it up. It worked great. Like, it works excellent. No problems with it at all. And I kept telling him, I was like, I'm going to pay you. He's like, no, you're not. We're not taking money from you. You're not going to pay us for it. And I said, well, at least let me pay you a little bit for coming and bringing it. And he wouldn't take the money. So I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, Lord, you have blessed me with a washer and dryer, because I needed one. I wanted to be able to, do my own clothes, and I had to take them to a laundromat. And I was planning to go buy one, but I was like, kind of did not really want to have to spend a lot of money on one. And even that, like the $200, I was super excited about getting a washer and dryer for that amount. And then he wouldn't even let me pay him. And I was just like, oh my goodness, Lord, you are just moving in ways and blessing me. And it's amazing. And so then I want to share this with y'all, what actually happened. This part, I definitely want to share with y'all just to show y'all how good God is and how he so clearly reveals himself to us. So a few days after that, my mom called me and she was like, did you hear about what happened with, she said my cousin's name and his wife, because they, the ones that had given me the washer. And I was like, no, what happened? She said someone called them and told them that they felt led, just this random other Christian person, and I don't even know who it was, but this other Christian couple called them and said that they felt led to give them some money, and they felt like God had led them to give them some money, and they said, and me and my wife, the man said, me and my wife have both prayed about it, and the amount that we feel led to give you is $200. And so I was like, what? God gave them back the $200. They gave me the washer and dryer and wouldn't let me pay them. And then God gave them $200 through another couple. He led another couple to give them $200 that, you know, just randomly felt God leading them and gave it to them. And so I was like, I told my mom, I was like, oh my goodness. My mom was like, yeah, she was telling me how much it had amazed my cousin and his wife, and just how clearly it was God showing them how he works, and how clearly God was at the same time showing me how he works. And my mom was saying, you know, you are a widow and your children are fatherless, and the Bible talks about taking care of the widows and the fatherless and how he'll bless you for that. And I was like, wow, I was so excited, and it made me so thankful for how God is working, not only in my life, but in others, and he's blessing others. And I was like, wow, thank you, God, for revealing yourself to me and revealing yourself to my cousin and blessing him in that way, and his wife with that, you know, with that money. Because I was willing to pay him. I was even going to message him again and say, look, this washer and dryer is working great and I will pay you the money. And God blessed him and gave to him because of that. And it's just been an amazing journey, y'all. The past few weeks, God has blessed me greatly, and I'm so happy. I am probably the most at peace where I'm at now, as I've been in a long time, just getting settled in with my kids and being able to get into routines and cook my own meals and try to eat healthier and just do better. And God he's been helping me in so many ways, y'all. And I just wanted to share that with y'all. I know this has actually ended up being a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. I'm sorry. When I get to talking about stuff like this, it's hard for me to keep it short. But anyway, I want to tell y'all, I wanted to share that with y'all, my experience and how God worked it all out. And how it was God. The fact that I was able to go on a Saturday, apply for an apartment, and move in on a Monday night is crazy, amazing. And it's a nice community. It's gated. It's beautiful, and it's about the same distance as it's like right here on the edge of town, on a larger town, or like a big town, city, but still the same amount of distance, maybe maybe like 2-3 minutes longer to my work and to my church. So, and I'm not, like, I was out in the rural area, and now I'm right here at the edge of the city, which for me, I like, because I'm able to get Walmart grocery delivery, and I'm really close to everything, and which is really helpful for me at this point in my life. Like, my goals have shifted at this point in my life. When my husband and I were together, we were very much wanting to, when we were married before he passed, we were wanting to, you know, we wanted to have, like, we had pigs and chickens and everything, and that was our dream, was we had a big garden. That was our dream, to do like the farm homestead thing. But now for me, my goals have definitely changed. I'm in this point in life where I'm having to raise 3 children alone, and it's just, this is where it's easier for me to be able to get grocery delivery is amazing when you have 3 littles. and just being so close to everything is amazing, and feeling safe and secure where I live, feeling like I can come in and out peacefully and at ease, not having to worry about outdoor upkeep because it's all taken care of, and even maintenance is taken care of, and just all of that has just been such a blessing. And so I'm so thankful to the Lord for working it all out. And I just want to say, He is so good. I've seen it in my darkest days. I cannot explain, but in my darkest days, I've realized His love more than ever. I don't know how it works like that, but it's just, I've seen the love of God more than ever in these darkest days that I've walked through, and I've realized His love more than ever, and I've experienced it and walked it, and I know that He loves me. And it's just, it's amazing how when you're walking through the darkness, through the shadows, through the dark places, how He can just show you His love and show you His provision. And I just encourage you, if you are a Christian, if you're not a Christian, either way, go just look into the scriptures of who Jesus is, who He is today. He is alive, and He can change and transform your life. And if you are a Christian, just continue to trust, continue to serve, continue to draw closer to Him. He will be faithful to you. He will show you His goodness, and He will give you peace in the middle of every circumstance. And just, I am a living testimony of that. And so anyway, thank y'all for watching. I'm sorry this ended up being a little bit long, but I wanted to share this journey with y'all, where I'm at. And thank y'all for all the love you've shown to me. I thank you to everyone who has sent me book mail. You've been so sweet, and it's just always so exciting to get book mail, and I love it. It's super exciting. But anyway, this is my journey that I'm on, guys, and I thank y'all for allowing me to share it with y'all, and I hope that something I say on here can encourage you and be a blessing. And I just appreciate all of your prayers, all of your support, everything that y'all have done to be here for me since I've started this channel several months ago, and I just appreciate it so much. And thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to y'all guys later. Bye bye.